Welcome to another edition of the Giants Training Camp Report, the online edition. My name is John Schmelk. The Giants are coming off just their second day off of training camp. They have two practices today, and the guys were certainly anxious to get back on the field. Kind enough to grace us with his presence at training camp today is Giants beat reporter for WFAN and, of course, a contributor to Giants.com, Paul Dottino. Paul, good to have you. What was your take at practice today? To me, it looked like the same old story. Defense still ahead of the offense.
No, that's very true, John. And I think, folks, the one thing you got to look at is this defensive line, which we think is going to be really good this season. You can already tell they're having a terrific summer. 4 batted passes today, and that's a problem for the quarterbacks, but again, a real good sign for the defensive line.
And there was a real good sign for the offensive as well. A rookie is really starting to step up his game.
Ramses Barden has showed us great hands ever since he got here, way back when during rookie minicamp after the Giants drafted him. He continues to show them time and time again. He made 2 spectacular catches today, John. One which, a twisting move over the middle where he reached up and went up to get the ball. I think this guy's going to be really special. Old time folks will remember Harold Carmichael of the Philadelphia Eagles. He kind of reminds me of him.
And, of course, the two guys throwing the ball to Ramses Barden are Rhett Bomar and, of course, Andre Woodson. And, Paul, with limited reps, it's tough for those guys to really get into any sort of rhythm at training camp.
No, it really is. We all know that Eli Manning is the franchise guy and David Carr's the experienced guy behind him, and he'll be the man in any sort of emergency. So, as a result, it leaves a lot of scraps for Bomar and Woodson to try to get their act together. It's a very hard spot to be in. They've both been rather inconsistent to this point.
One guy that hasn't been inconsistent is Brian Keel. He's played great in this training camp. Earlier today, I had a chance to sit over here, talk to Brian Keel, and I asked him how he graded himself so far in training camp.
I'm going to give myself a B-plus grade. It's a solid grade. I'm doing pretty well, but long way to go.
Where do you think you've taken the biggest jump from last year to this year?
I would say on reading my keys and playing physical, those 2 things. Last year I was pretty good on making plays and getting out there and trying to contribute to the defense, but reading my keys, being physical, probably those 2 areas.
Well, you got maybe a little too physical a few nights ago. Richie Seibert's always the guy in the middle of the first training camp fight. At least that's what it seems like. You wouldn't think Brian Keel would be in the center of the first training camp scuffle, but you and Madison Hedgecock got into it a little bit. Why don't you take us through exactly what went down?
Oh, it wasn't a fight. It was a friendly tussle. That's what it was. Me and Madison have been joking about it ever since, and that's the thing that people need to realize on the football field. It's a game out there, and so it's a warrior, hit him in the face mentality, and then off the football field, you slap him on the back and say, "You got me, and I got you." So. But anyway, he got me down the field, got a good block on me, and knocked me off the ground. So, I got him a couple plays later. So it was pretty fun. It was good.
It's a tough spot, though. You're a linebacker. You're trying to be more physical. He's a lead blocking fullback. Yet you're on the same team and you're practicing. You're trying to simulate the game. You talked about this yesterday. There's a fine line between being physical and then maybe possibly hurting a teammate. Yeah,
and you don't want to trespass that line. And especially when it comes to people getting injured, that's when the coaches really, they don't want to have any of that. But you can't be playing patty cakes out there. The NFL, Come week 1, we play the Washington Redskins, and that fullback comes at me. I can't come up, want to play patty cakes with him. I have to have prepared myself to take him on properly. So that's what the look we try to get out there in practice. It's tough because in the game, it's fast and people are going down, but we're trying to stay up, and we're doing a pretty good job.
Now, after the whole thing went down, Coach Coughlin brought the whole team together, stopped practice in the middle, talked to you guys, and he talked to you guys for a long time after practice. What message did he send to the team?
Coach Coughlin does a great job. As the head coach, he has to manage practice, and he doesn't want us out there being soft, out there loosey-goosey, but he wouldn't want us killing each other. We got to have a team come week 1. And so he just reminded us of those 2 things. We need to practice. We need to be fast. We need to be physical. We need to get in the right fits. We need to come off the ball, but we can't be out of control. We can't have people going down. We have to be smart.
Finally, your first preseason game's coming up in about a week now against the Panthers. You're getting a lot of playing time. What do you think you need to show the coaches in that game?
Just those things that I need to work on from last year. Last year I did a good job making plays, did a good job flying around the football field. More physical, so that's what I look to show next week. And reading my keys better. So those are things I'm going to look to do, been doing, and I'm excited for it. It's live action.
And the rest of Brian Keel's teammates are also excited about getting into that game on Monday night. One guy especially is fellow linebacker Danny Clark. The veteran's been around the league a long time, but like the rest of the defense, he's gone through a switch. His linebackers coach last year, Bill Sheridan, is now the defensive coordinator, but he hasn't seen much of a change in defensive philosophy.
You know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I'm a big fan of what our defense has done in the last few years, and I think our whole deal has started up front on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line, and by them applying a lot of pressure on the quarterback, allow some errant throws, and it's essentially our back end guys get to eat off of it a little bit.
And watching from the sidelines, I don't see much of a difference, Paul. It looks like Coach Sheridan has really taken the cue from what Spagnuolo did the last 2 years and worked so well.
Yeah, I'd say, it's about 90% the same, John, which it should be because it was Spagnuolo's defense that won the Super Bowl. But I think one of the things that we saw the other day, which was something new, was a 5-1-5 nickel package where the Giants used their 3 stud defensive ends, Tuck, Umenyiora, and Kiwanuka, and 2 defensive tackles up front. It's a very unique package, one I've never seen in 27 years of covering the National Football League. So, it's designed to cause havoc up front and designed to cause a lot of problems with an offense's blocking schemes. I could see that being a big problem.
And the Giants' offensive line and the offense has had to deal with those defensive linemen all throughout training camp. We had a chance to talk to Eli Manning yesterday. He kind of gave a state of the team type of situation. One of the big positions people have been watching all during camp is wide receivers. There's been questions, but Eli Manning has liked the progress he's seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, they're doing well, and we're throwing a lot at them, and they're getting reps, and we're gonna make mistakes. That's part of learning, but I think we're not repeating the same mistakes, and that's a good thing. And we're getting different looks and different coverages, have different reads, and they're making plays. We're hitting a lot of big plays. There are some mistakes we got to fix, but that's why you go to training camp, and that's why you have all these practices, is to work out all the